Julie Michael Smith with the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition. Thank you very much for being here. One of the things that's going on, it's been going on for a long time, it's news to nobody, is that there are a lot of available manufacturing jobs in the area. I think in the region there are something like 40,000 available manufacturing jobs. It's just around us. And closing that gap has been the mission of the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition for many, many years. One of the ways that you are starting to do that is with some new curriculum to introduce students to manufacturing earlier. Could you talk a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting students aware of manufacturing is really key and integral to the Mahoning Valley Manufacturing Coalition. As you mentioned, there's so many job openings. Currently, part of that is related to the aging workforce, and part of it is to new opportunities. We have new industries that are emerging here in the valley, and they're going to continue to be attracted to this area, and we need to be prepared to fill those needs. When I started in economic development and working with companies many, many years ago, there was the perception that manufacturing was for strong backs, not strong minds. It was dirty. People didn't want to go into manufacturing. And while there's still some of that as a reputation today, it's unfounded. But more importantly, is a lot of people just don't know what is manufacturing. I think we've gotten to the point where anytime we want something, we go online, we order on Amazon, it shows up the next day, and we never think about how did this actually get here? How was this actually made? So what we're looking to do at the coalition is work with youth with a broad portfolio of activities. And that could be anything from working with summer camps to working with WOW, giving children hands-on activities, to then taking it to the next level. And that's where we develop these curriculum lessons. To have a program that is intentional, it's persistent, it's in the schools, and it gives students more of not just the hands-on activity, which is very important for them to actually be able to have project-based learning, but to also learn about manufacturing in our community. Learn a little bit about the history of it, but also learn about the future and how they may play a role in the future of manufacturing, how they can see themselves in a manufacturing job in our community.
Are you finding that they have that perception that you just talked about where it's dirty, and is that perhaps one of the reasons why they almost don't even consider that an opportunity for after graduation?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just the students. It's oftentimes the influencers in their life. So it's their teachers, their career counselors, guidance counselors, parents. They remember maybe when their parents and grandparents worked in the mills and factories. So they're still carrying along that legacy perception as well. So part of our mission is to educate that circle of influencers in a student's life as well. So
talk a little bit about the curriculum. What does it cover? I think there are 7 lessons, and it covers a lot.
It does.
There's like an introduction. There's hands-on activities. There's kind of a little bit of a mental. There's history component to it. Yeah.
We tried to give the students really a well-rounded view of manufacturing. As you mentioned, there are 7 lessons. The first few lessons do focus on, what is manufacturing? And then many students already are familiar with, who's Henry Ford, who's Thomas Edison, whatnot. So it's a global, and then we bring it down onto a regional level. So working with several of our members in the coalition, they contributed content and projects. So we have partnerships with Vallourec, Brylex, and a number of other companies, Clark Dietrich, Humtown. They contributed projects, but we also lifted them up and highlighted them as companies that students can learn about. Perhaps they even know people that work at these companies. Then we introduced them to some skills that are used in manufacturing and allow them to do a project. And the projects can be anything from a marshmallow catapult to reading a line drawing. So many of us are used to, following instructions like a recipe card, but oftentimes
Right.
we receive instructions based upon a diagram. Well, here's a bucket of pieces and here's a diagram, put it together and figure it out.
Right.
I recently asked my 20-year-old son to put together a chair for me that came from that was shipped, and he was just like, I'm completely confused. I have no idea how to do this.
Right.
And I'm like, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the challenge.
Uh-huh.
So then we have a few lessons on the emerging industries. So focusing on robotics, electric vehicles, smart mobility, and then also additive manufacturing.
So is the curriculum already in schools, or is it going to be in schools, or how is that going to happen?
We just launched it in the spring, and of course now we're on summer break.
Right.
So we have been doing some piloting of the lessons though with summer camps. So the YWCA recently finished their summer girls camp for STEM, and they use some of the lessons. There are some other organizations that we're working with that are using the lessons. We've started conversations with some schools that will be piloting it in the fall. Trumbull County Career and Technical Center, there's a teacher there who's going to be using the lessons in her manufacturing course. But the lessons are complete, and for those educators who are interested, they can certainly contact me. They are aligned to academic standards. They're available in Google, so they're easily accessible for the teachers and students.
Okay, so teachers can just go email you or go to the website, download these things,
Yes.
and start putting them into their classrooms.
Absolutely, and we actually have some supplies and resources that teachers can borrow from us as well. So while many of the activities use consumables, as I mentioned, like the marshmallow challenge and whatnot, so using marshmallows and spaghetti sticks, we have other ones where students are actually using 3D printing pens, or they're using something called squishy circuits, which teaches students about circuitry and electronics. So we have resources that we can lend to schools so they can give students more of an elevated experience.
717 Credit Union. Savings power to give your business an extra boost. Business savings, certificates, and business money market. 717 Credit Union. Make your money work as hard as you do. Check out our business money market and CD rates at 717cu.com/rates.